When you were 9 years old.
Will you order the German version of Backstreet Boys from Wish? This is what you get. What the hell? He just. Oh my god! Oh my god! Bruh!
Dieses heißt Slikkekring.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to another reaction. Now, I'm gonna decide whether to throw this on the Patreon or throw this on YouTube. I'm still deciding. I'm kind of in two minds at this moment, but I'll see. Now we're gonna be checking out how Rammstein defied the odds and conquered the world. Now I'm gonna probably be ending up dividing this video into two parts, and the purpose of that, guys, is because I have a lot of other stuff to do. I've got studies, as you can see from the fucking pile of books here. But anyway, I got a few other stuff to sort out. So the way, if I can at least make my time efficient, right, and do two parts of this video, at least you guys get some content, and that we get some content today. So if I do divide this up into two parts, we're going to be running this. I see this is approximately 20 minutes. We're going to be running this up until 10 minutes maybe. And yeah, then we'll do a part two as well to this. Other than that, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you have not gone and checked out the Rammstein playlist, go and check it out. It's on the channel. I do full in-depth breakdowns of, I literally did, of all of these songs. I promise you, of all of the songs, literally. On the Rammstein playlist for you guys to go and check out. So make sure you go and check out the playlist on the channel. Let's get to it.
Hallo. Hallo.
Hello.
What's up, everybody? I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA, and today we are here to talk about none other than Rammstein. We all know them for their
Rammstein, okay.
Unique take on industrial metal, their absolutely insane live show, and their merch, which is, let's just say, pretty unique. And most importantly,
I've never actually seen their merch. I've never actually seen
being one of the absolute biggest names in the entire world of rock and metal. They currently sit at over 10 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Insane.
Their videos get hundreds of millions of views. They've been nominated for a Grammy twice. And to this day, they hold the title of having the one and only German language album that was certified platinum in the United States.
Wow.
Which is honestly pretty crazy to think
impressive,
about. But my question is, how did they do it? How did they become so huge across literally pretty much the entire world while playing music that's honestly pretty weird and not in English?
So if I were to say that right from the bat, I would say it's because of the message they deliver in the music, and this is why we've on the channel we've done in-depth breakdowns of their songs. Their songs are so damn layered with meanings. It's insane. It's literally insane, and that's why you gotta go and check out the Rammstein playlist, guys. I promise you, you will like it. That's how confident I am in that playlist.
Those are the questions that I will try to answer in this video. And also, I can tell you right now that I am going to absolutely butcher the pronunciation of pretty much every German word in this video.
It happens.
So I apologize in advance for that. And if you haven't, please check me out on Twitch. I am streaming twice a week from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And there's a link to that in the description of this video. And also, I want to
now that I'm seeing that, the OG GTA San Andreas, how I love that game, bro. That game freaking made my childhood, literally.
Of this video. And also, I want to thank Sheath for sponsoring this video. Sheath was started by a soldier in the U.S. military when he was deployed in Iraq, and as you can imagine, conditions.
All right, let's skip the sponsorship. Sponsorship. We know we gotta do it, bro. As YouTubers, we gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Offer from Sheath.
Because hey, listen, ad revenue not as reliable, trust me.
Our story starts in the city of Schwerin in the north of Germany, where the band's founding members Richard Kruspe and Till Lindemann met for the first time. At the time, Richard was in a band called Orgasm Death Gimmick, which was heavily influenced by American bands like Kiss, while Till was the drummer in a band called Fist Arsch, which...
Who was his drummer? I know he was a pretty good swimmer, but Till was a drummer as well. Okay.
As you might guess, translates to fist ass. Gotta love that name. And in 1992, they traveled to the United States together with the future members of the band Ollie, who would become the band's bassist. And during the trip, Richard came to the conclusion that he no longer wanted to just imitate bands from America and would rather create something really unique to the world that could only come from Germany.
Yeah.
So in 1993, Richard, along with the bassist Ollie and the drummer Schneider, started a brand new project with the vision of having that unique German sound, as he put it,
Wow.
with Till joining them on vocals shortly afterward.
The
The
goat.
band was initially a side project for each of the members involved, but that would soon change after winning a contest for amateur bands, where the prize was a week of recording time in a big professional studio.
Oh, that's insane.
And the band quickly came together with the addition of their final two members, the rhythm guitarist Landers and keyboardist Flake. And in September of
Flock.
1995,
I also used to call him Flake, but it's Flock. It's actually Flock,
guitarist
right?
Landers and keyboardist Flake. And in September of 1995, they released their debut album Herzeleid.
Yeah. Good. You reek so good. Come on, bruh.
And it was almost immediately
Brings
a
back.
massive success,
Yeah.
debuting at number 2 in Germany and also charting in
French, Belgian albums. Okay, Francis albums.
countries like Switzerland and Austria. They
Wow.
didn't get a lot of traction in America at that time, but what did help put them on the map in America in those early days were their songs Rammstein and Herate Mich. Again, I am
Herald mich. Is it Herald mich? Herald mich. I think
so sorry for the pronunciation. I'm sure that is absolutely terrible. Being featured in David Lynch's 1997 movie Lost Highway.
Oh, man, this song. This song brings about goosebumps like none other. This and Steinum's. Is it Stein? Oh my goodness.
The album also sparked quite a lot of controversy, which, as a lot of you know, will be a trend for the band in the future.
Yeah.
First of all, we have the album art itself.
Most people don't know this, but the best way to make money online right now is not drop shipping, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, or any other
Right,
Which
everyone.
depicts the band members shirtless and sweaty, which a lot of people
Woo.
interpreted as the band posing as members of the master race or something. And
Oh, okay. What? I mean, man, people can reach.
interpreted as the band posing as members of the master race or
Brilliant.
something. And to be
Okay.
fair, the album got released in a period where people in Europe were still kind of sensitive about the legacy of World War II.
Oh,
But
okay.
on the other hand, that was like 50 years later. And it's also kind of unfair to assume that that was the intention simply because the band was German.
It's the
Because
reach.
in reality, the story was honestly much more simple. The band just took a picture in a random parking lot in Berlin, and the end result was, well, this. And the band themselves actually weren't very happy with how it turned out, basically saying that they felt like it was an ad for a gay porn movie. But with all of that being said, the
What? I bet you it's Till that said that. I bet it. Hey, listen.
saying that they felt like it was an ad for a gay porn movie. But with all of that being said, the album cover was left intact in Europe, but it did get changed slightly for the American release.
Oh,
Over
that's
here,
cool.
it was just the band members' heads
That looks
side by
pretty cool.
side. And another thing that was maybe a bit less controversial, but got them a lot of attention, was their live show. Back
Yeah.
then, their shows weren't quite so insane and over the top as they would go on to be in the future, but they were still pretty over the top. Till would pull off all these insanely dangerous pyrotechnics moves
Yeah.
on stage, for example, all the while playing some weird character on stage wearing all these crazy outfits.
Oh, I remember with what was it? The not what's the song's name? What's the song's name? Vicious Fleisch. I think it's Vicious Fleisch is I think it's the German cannibal, right? I think it's that one. But there's a live performance where he puts, I think it's Fluck into a trolley or something, into a wagon, and he sets the wagon on fire. I don't recall which exact performance, but I do know
While
it did
playing
happen.
some weird character on stage wearing all these crazy outfits.
This man is crazy. He's crazy, bro.
And in fact, the pyrotechnics eventually became so synonymous with the band that Till actually got a professional pyrotechnics license, which is actually very cool and
That's cool.
responsible.
Yeah,
of him.
that
And to
is
a lot
very
of
cool.
people's surprise, he wasn't actually doing all these crazy, dangerous stunts as some sort of performance art or as a way to get attention. He was doing it because he was shy. And so if you're asking yourself, wait a minute, this guy basically set
yeah,
himself
yeah.
on fire on stage
He had stage fright. Yeah, I remember someone told me
because
that.
he was shy? Well, yeah, pretty much. He didn't really know what to do with his hands on stage in between the vocal parts, so he started pulling out fireworks, and, well, things just kind of escalated from there, as most of you know.
This one.
Another example of that is how he was wearing goggles on stage. A lot of fans interpreted that as some sort of a performance or style thing, but in reality, he just didn't want to make eye contact with the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, if I were in that position, I'd probably do the same, bro. Quite honestly.
And these days, Till is obviously a lot less shy on stage, but believe it or not, he's actually a pretty conservative, low-key guy outside of the band. He may do all these insane things in music videos and on stage, but if you notice, he doesn't really do a lot of interviews, and he seems to be kind of a reserved guy. Like, when he's not on tour, he spends a lot of his time in his hometown fishing, camping.
Is this man nude fish? Bro, what the hell?
In the woods, taking in nature. Honestly, I was kind of surprised by that, and I think he's a good example of how looks can kind of be deceiving.
Yeah.
For us, Till is a relatively normal person. He knows a lot of people in the village, and he's actually a perfectly normal person, just like anybody else. And he's kept his feet on the ground.
And although they were doing pretty well for themselves right off the bat with their first album, their first really big break was about to happen. On August 22nd of 1997, they released their second album, Sehnsucht. And I'm cringing every time I try to say a German word.
No, I think that's not too bad. German speakers, I don't think that was
Please
too bad.
forgive me.
Woo! Du hast.
And as many
Isn't I Want?
of you already know, this
Oh,
album
no, it's not I
was
Want,
absolutely huge. It debuted at #1 in countries like Germany and Austria, where they were already well established, but it also gave them a big break in the United States.
Oh, 45,
even though
yeah.
they had already done a tour in the US supporting KMFDM, who were really kind of only known in sort of the industrial world. What really put them on the map is their appearance on the Family Values tour with Korn, Limp Bizkit, Ice Cube, and Orgy. And initially, Rob Zombie was actually supposed to be on this tour, but he was dropped due to the high production costs of his show. Supposedly, it was going to cost like $125,000 a show for Rob Zombie to play, which
Sheesh. Okay. You know what? Screw the part 1, part 2. We're gonna run
even for big bands like that, that's a lot of money. So Rammstein took his place instead. And this gave us some truly historical moments where the new metal kids in America were exposed to things like this. Definitely something the new metal kids were not expecting. In fact, at one show, Till and the keyboardist Flake actually got arrested for indecent behavior for the stunt that you just saw. They
man. That song, bruh. That's the trolling. That's the troll song.
ultimately only spent a night in jail for it, so nothing too bad. But Till later went on record saying that he would get questioned by the authorities every time he went to America about why he got arrested and why he's on probation. And to this day, Sehnsucht is still the only album in the United States that is certified platinum and fully in German. The video for Du hast sits at over 500 million views.
That's
and my
insane.
question is, how the fuck did they do it? Because it's rare enough for a metal band to pull those kind of numbers at all. And it's basically unheard of for a band to do that with.
Like I said, I think it's because of the depth of their music, and I think it's because of the fact that they went over the top. I think it's because of the fact that they made themselves stand out. Right?
Lyrics in another language. And I think that's a combination of a few factors. For one, there's simply no other band that really sounds like them. They blend together elements of bands like Iron Maiden with techno and also having the groove of a band like Pantera. And even though that might sound like a mess on paper, they managed to pull it together into songs that are catchy and timeless and somehow have this kind of almost mainstream appeal.
Yeah. Oh, this is a beautiful song. Listen, this is such a I just get goosebumps, bro. For some of these songs that I analyze They really make you think on levels that you didn't think were capable. As I said, the playlist, man, go and check out the playlist. Yeah. Whoa, god damn, okay.
Another thing that they understood very early on is that having good music is just not enough to get noticed. There's, of course, the live show, which we all know is absolutely insane, with the fire and explosions and the BDSM costumes and the penis cannons. But another thing that I want to point out is how much effort they put into their videos. They have never once made the generic metal video of them playing in an abandoned warehouse or whatever.
No.
And they've always made sure that every Rammstein video is an experience.
There's a storyline to every video. That's true.
Take the video for Engel, for example, which is kind of an homage to a scene from the movie From Dusk Till Dawn.
I've actually never seen the video. I've only done the live performance analysis of this. Never seen the video. Definitely gonna go check it out.
In fact, movies as a whole are really deeply ingrained into the band's entire DNA. So much so that David Lynch himself whistles the song Engel in his cameo in Twin Peaks.
Oh. That's so cool. What?
And also, this is kind of a well-known fact among the fan base, but these guys actually have a lot to say, despite what it might seem like on the surface. Take, for example, the song Spiel mit mir, which when it came out...
Another dark, very dark song. It's so it's like the most of their songs, they talk about controversial topics. I know the Rammstein fans would know this, right? You have songs like Vicious Fleisch. That's about I think that's about the German cannibal, right? There's a song about Joseph Fritzl. And that, what is that called? I can't remember the name, but it's about the Joseph Fritzl story, the guy who kept his daughter in the basement, had children with her. I can't remember what the German title of that song is. Remind me, Rammstein fans, remind me. But yeah, then there's a cannibal. There's also a song about colonialism, Ostlander. There's a whole range of topics really that they address.
Was an extremely controversial song in Germany because the lyrics on the surface are about
Child
an
abuse.
incestuous relationship between two brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, yeah. Initially I thought the song was about not two brothers, but about the brother and little sister. But yeah, shake the lead for me. Get it? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is obviously a very controversial topic to talk about in a song. But in reality, what the band was really talking about was toxic relationships within families on the side of the parents rather than the children. All of this is combined with the fact that the band is obviously not afraid to be controversial, sort of using that as a way to get attention to talk about more substantial topics.
God.
And boom, you've got yourself a winning package. And just one of those things would be enough to get the band some notoriety, but it's the combination of all these elements that made them such a huge band. These amazing, unique songs with great marketing and the willingness to be polarizing and controversial. But despite all the success that the band was having, they didn't rest on their laurels. And on the 2nd of April 2001,
Mutter.
they released what a lot of...
Mutter. That's the song about the... I'm spoiling it for some of you guys, but that's a song about an artificial child who was born. Was it that song? I think it was that song, yeah. A child who was born or conceived artificially in a laboratory, and he now longs for a mother figure, but he doesn't have a mother figure. I'm going too deep. I'm going into analysis mode.
Fans seem to think is the best thing they've ever done, and in their opinion, one of the best metal albums of all time, Mutter. And even if you're not a fan of Rammstein, you really should listen to this album because pretty much every song on this album is a single, and any metal fan can...
Oh, hold up. Okay. Let me just reconnect the wire here quickly. I don't know, sometimes it just freaks out and it just stops. But anyway, I'm gonna probably edit this out. Okay, let's try this again.
And probably find something that they'll like here.
There we go. All right, let's continue.
There's a reason that it's considered such a classic. And this is also the album where they cleared up a lot of the confusion. At the time, a lot of people were still sort of throwing the Nazi label at them. And with songs
Ridiculous.
like Link 234.
Oh yeah, links. Oh yeah, it's a it they set themselves apart from right-wing politics, which labeled Nazism, obviously, saying we're left wing all the way, right? Links 234 left. What
sort of resolved a lot of that by making it clear that politically they were a bit more on the left side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And from this point on, the band has had an amazing career, full of more insane live shows and, of course, more controversies. They've released 3 albums since Mutter, with the last one being, and again, I apologize for the pronunciation here, Liebe ist für alle da, before going on a recording hiatus. They were still very much an active band, but just took a hiatus from making new music, with a lot of the members focusing on some of their side projects. Richard, for example, focused on his other band Emigrate, which is more of a hard rock project compared to Rammstein.
Till Lindemann also has he's a solo with big solo artists actually.
And meanwhile, Till started a side project with Peter Tägtgren from Hypocrisy, which was basically a combination of Rammstein with Peter's side project Pain. And this was actually the first time that Till recorded an album that was fully in English.
Skills and pills.
And even though everyone in the band was doing very well for themselves, they were not done yet. In 2019, after an entire decade of no new music...
Oh my goodness, yeah, that album. Oh my goodness, the new one. The new one. Oh, bruh. I thoroughly enjoyed the modern sound on that one.
They released their biggest album yet, the Untitled album.
Ooh.
And
one after this, banger.
As many of you probably know, this thing was absolutely huge when it came out. It debuted at #1 in more than 10 countries, including Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, #3 in the UK, and #9 in the US. And the video for the song Deutschland sits at over 300 million views at the time of recording this video, which is absolutely huge for a metal band. And a lot of people would say that that music video for Deutschland is one of, if not the very best metal videos of the last 20 years.
Facts.
It's basically like a 10-minute epic mini movie with all these different things happening. There's a ton of people on YouTube who have like really dissected that music video. And even if you're not a fan of the band, it's worth checking out just as an example of how far you can push the limits. And this album overall was the type of success that honestly even a lot of pop artists could only hope for.
Yep.
That is how huge this thing was. And keep in mind that again, they were well over 20 years into their career.
Yeah, it's basically a summary of the history of Germany in a very creative way.
At this point, and they'd taken 10 years off of music. And I think you have to respect the fact that they were able to hit a new peak of relevance that late into their career.
Facts.
And initially they had planned to tour for 3 or 4 years in support of this album. But just like practically every other part of the music industry, the COVID pandemic forced them to have a change of plans.
Yep.
They pushed back the second leg of their European tour to 2021 and entered the studio unexpectedly yet again. And in April of 2022, they released their latest album, Zeit.
Zeit. Oh.
And it was...
Zeit, listen to me. Rammstein, Zeit is one of the best songs you'll ever... one of the best music videos you'll ever see. I promise
Yet again, a massive success, debuting at #1 in many countries across Europe.
That's insane.
As well as #3 in the UK and Australia. And in the eyes of a lot of fans, this album was sort of a combination of all the best things about Rammstein. There's the big bangers, there's the ballads, there's sick riffs, there's profane lyrics about boobies. I mean, what more could a Rammstein fan wish for, right? And although this one didn't have any really big hits like Deutschland or Radio off the last album, I would say that it's overall more consistent. Which brings us to the last question of this video. What is their lasting impact? For one, I think that they're one of the best examples of a band of this generation, along with probably Slipknot, to understand that having great music is honestly just not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah, it isn't.
They understood from the very beginning that it would take more than that. So they used the controversial imagery and insane live
Topics.
show as a way to cut through the noise. And that's something that metal bands knew back in the 70s and 80s when bands like Kiss and Motley Crue were on top of the world. But it feels like it kind of got forgotten in the 90s. And that's
Yeah.
something I think that metal bands now are only starting to get their heads around again. But Rammstein understood this way back in the early 90s, at the height of grunge, when it was totally uncool to be a larger-than-life personality. And so they were very forward-thinking in that regard. Another thing I think is that they've always been very unapologetically themselves.
Facts.
And never tried to cater to anybody. And
Nope.
so I think, ironically, if they had chosen to sing in English and didn't implement any of the, let's just say, Germanness, I don't think that they would have gotten nearly as big as they are today.
Yeah.
Basically, they weren't afraid to be one of one. And that's actually something that takes a lot of courage and belief in yourself to do. I mean, think about how many other bands are very clearly trying to duplicate someone else's path to success,
copycat, yeah.
and how rarely that works out for them. But Rammstein is an example of one of these bands that decided to do it their own way, and because of that, they had massive success. And I'm not sure when they're going to decide to hang it up, because the guys are definitely getting older, and they're almost 30 years deep into their career. But whenever they do, I think they will be remembered as one of the legends of their generation, and for good reason. All right,
Yeah.
my friends, that does it for this video.
All right,
always,
guys. Nice long video for you guys. But I quite like this. I quite like the way he kind of explained everything. Kind of just give us an insight into, it's not just them just making music, but it's them just unapologetically being themselves and still achieving success. How Rammstein defied the odds and conquered the world. I hope you enjoyed this. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to go and check out the Rammstein playlist. You will enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.